Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Assassin's Creed Odyssey. With this brand new installment in the Assassin's Creed franchise, Ubisoft have created a beautiful, huge open world that brings ancient Greece to life like never before. This massive open world is also home to plenty of Easter eggs, as is normal for a Ubisoft game. The best of these can be found hidden throughout the game world, and these are what we'll be taking a look at today. There may be even more Easter eggs hidden within quests or character dialogue, but in order to keep this video spoiler free, we'll only be focusing on the Easter eggs found in the open world. So without further ado, here are almost all the Easter eggs in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It goes without saying that Assassin's Creed Odyssey would have taken some inspiration from the 2006 Zack Snyder film 300. 300 is perhaps the most popular and well-known movie to be set in the era of the Spartans. The Battle of Thermopylae, in which the 300 Spartans fought the Persian army, took place in around 480 BCE, not too long before the events of Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which takes place in 431 BCE. And just so you know, the lower the number, the more recent the date when it comes to the BCE eras. With all of this in mind, it's absolutely no surprise that the game literally opens with the Battle of Thermopylae, in which you get to play as the Spartan general Leonidas, who was also the main character in the movie. In this early game sequence, the cinematography is even very reminiscent of what you see in Zack Snyder's film. From this point on, the Spear of Leonidas is a key weapon and item in the game. Speaking of weapons, or attacking people to be more accurate, one of the special moves that you can utilize takes direct influence from a very iconic scene in the movie.
Madness. This is Sparta!
The kick is a move you'll get very early in the game, and it's pretty much a staple in most combat situations from there on. So we've already got the battle and the kick, but if you want another reference to 300, then just take a quick look in the achievements where you'll find the This is Sparta achievement that you receive by completing the Battle of 300. This is once again referencing that most brutal and iconic scene from 300. While not really an Easter egg, but more of geographical accuracy, you can actually head to Thermopylae and find the ancient battlefield in which the Battle of 300 took place, including the narrow path that the 300 Spartans gave their lives to defend. Black Panther has been one of the most popular movies of the entire year, absolutely destroying the box office and bringing Marvel movies even further into the mainstream spotlight than ever before. For these reasons, I am by no means surprised to see a Black Panther Easter egg popping up in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So, to find this Easter egg, what you're going to want to do is make your way to the waterfall that you can see there in the distance. It can be found in the very bottom right corner of the map, roughly in this location. At the top of this waterfall, those of you who have seen Black Panther will find a very familiar looking scene. These two fighting in the water, along with their cheering audience, is a reference to the scene in Black Panther in which Wakanda, the most advanced country in the entire world, elects its leader by a trial by combat, and not by, I don't know, a vote? Okay, snark aside, it's a pretty cool scene in the movie, and I do really enjoy this little recreation that can be found in Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
If I may, Commander, I keep my distance from this one.
Alongside Ubisoft loving to include tons of Easter eggs for popular movies or games in their titles, they also love to reference their own games all over the place. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is no different. A little while into the game, you'll get your first opportunity to exit the Animus and walk around in the modern day. There are a whole bunch of Easter eggs here, but for now, we'll just take a look at 2 that reference popular Ubisoft games. So, first up, on a shelf in the back room, you can find this little guy.
What?
That is, of course, a Rabid. First appearing in Rayman Raving Rabbids, but more recently, and perhaps most popular, is the game Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. This is a favourite Easter egg for Ubisoft, with them having appeared in past Assassin's Creed games and the Watch Dogs series. The second reference is a pair of night vision goggles in the bedroom.
Looks third echelon. Or is it fourth?
These goggles and that dialogue is a direct reference to the Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell series of games. Third Echelon is the Black Ops subdivision within the NSA that Sam Fisher, the wearer of said goggles and protagonist of the Splinter Cell games, is a highly trained agent for. The reference to 4th Echelon was something introduced in Splinter Cell Blacklist as a replacement for the 3rd Echelon after its previous leader attempted to overthrow the United States government. Sam Fisher is the current leader of the 4th Echelon, which, if there are any future games, is something we'll be seeing more prominently. Assassin's Creed Black Flag is one of my all-time favourite Assassin's Creed games. One of the reasons I loved it so much was the naval combat, and they've brought that naval combat back in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It seems that the naval combat is a favourite of most people, with Ubisoft releasing Skull and Bones in the near future, a game entirely based around this mechanic. Speaking of which, the next Easter egg we're going to be taking a look at seems to be referencing Skull and Bones or perhaps Black Flag. Let's take a quick look. So if you head over to the Obsidian Islands, which can be found here on the map, all you need to do once you arrive is head to the highest peak. If you climb all the way up, at the very top, in one of the crevices, you can find a skull and 2 bones. Literally, skull and bones. This seems like a pretty obvious reference to the upcoming Skull and Bones game, but at the same time it does have some pirate imagery, so perhaps there is a slight reference to Black Flag there as well. My favourite kinds of Easter eggs are those hidden in special locations. Secrets behind waterfalls are a particular favourite of mine, but equally interesting are those secrets hidden at either the highest or lowest point in a game world. For this Easter egg, we're going to be heading to the highest point in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which can be found at the top of that mountain in the distance. If you want to find this for yourself, you can find it here on the map. At the very peak of the mountain, embedded in the rock, you can find a sword. Now, I've seen a few other sources claiming this to be a reference to the Dark Souls bonfires, which is an Easter egg that does pop up in loads of games, but honestly, I don't believe that. Odyssey literally has campfires, so if they wanted to do a reference to Dark Souls, they could just stick a sword in any of them. To me, this is very clearly a reference to Excalibur and the legend of the sword in the stone. This is an extremely well-known British legend, but I believe this Easter egg is actually a reference to the real sword in the stone. In real life, the sword can be found in Siena, Italy, and not, in fact, the legendary Camelot. The story goes that a knight climbed a mountain after a dream led him there. The view from the top was so beautiful, he decided to plant a cross. However, without a cross handy and no wood nearby, he instead drew his sword and plunged it into the rock where it still stands to this day. This story and Assassin's Creed Odyssey are set over 1,000 years apart, but I'm pretty confident that this is a reference to the real Sword in the Stone. Definitely not Dark Souls. The climbing mechanics in Assassin's Creed Odyssey have been greatly expanded since the days of the original Assassin's Creed games. It is possible now to climb pretty much anything you can imagine, without even needing to worry about finding handholds. This is a trait that Odyssey actually shares with another very popular game, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. But that's not the only thing these two games share. If you come to this small island found here on the map, near the edge of the rocks you can find a small stone circle surrounding an unusual figure. This right here is a reference to the Korok Seed puzzles from Breath of the Wild. The stone circles are something you'll see in multiple areas when playing Zelda, and perhaps more interestingly, the little figure in the centre is actually of a Korok. Despite it being a crude mock-up, that leaf on its face is a dead giveaway. It's not an Assassin's Creed game if it doesn't reference the previous Assassin's Creed games. Odyssey, however, has a particular liking for Assassin's Creed Syndicate. When outside the Animus, you can interact with the window to hear this dialogue referencing Assassin's Creed Syndicate's Fry twins.
I wonder if the Fry twins would still recognize London. A rooftop's still a rooftop.
Also, through the Ubisoft Club, you can get your hands on Evie Fry herself as a lieutenant for your ship. So then, those were a whole bunch of the biggest Easter eggs to be found in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But we're not quite done yet, as there are still a few small references I have for you. So as always, it's time for my favourite part of these videos. It's time for the lightning round. At a randomly selected vendor, you'll be able to find and purchase a unicorn skin for your horse. The unicorn comes with all your unicorn fantasies, including a pink horn, pink reins, and best of all, you'll leave pink trails wherever you go. By using the Uplay app and redeeming the reward, you can unlock Bayek of Siwa from Assassin's Creed Origins as a lieutenant on your ship. An Easter egg returning from Assassin's Creed Origins references a famous scene from the movie Gladiator. Walking through a wheat field will result in your character running their hand along the top of the grass, just like in Gladiator. Another Gladiator reference comes in the form of an achievement called Are You Not Entertained? By accessing the emails on the computer once outside the Animus, you can find a string of replies in which the popular "It's a trap" line from Star Wars is referenced and even joked about. YouTube top 10 videos are insanely popular. I should know since I have done a fair few of them in the past. But this parody of those channels, named Chilling Top 10s, is particularly reminiscent of channels like Most Amazing Top 10 or All Time 10s. Right then, I believe we are about done here. That was my look at most of the Easter eggs in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. There may be some Easter eggs that have slipped through the cracks or perhaps are found after this video was released. So if that is the case, then please be sure to leave a comment below and let everyone know. I do hope you enjoyed this video, guys. If you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and of course subscribe for more. You can keep up to date with the channel and get in contact with me over on Twitter at TheRoyalGorilla, so be sure to follow me there too. Thank you for watching, guys. I've been TheRoyalGorilla, over and out.
His name is Luke and he's more than your average gamer. No ordinary let's player. Know about Easter eggs much better. Da 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 da. His name is Luke, aka TheRoyalGorilla. Even bigger than the giant Godzilla. Follow him in every game he goes. Da da da.